I'm terrified. This could happen next door to my house, in my neighborhood. Like, my wife sits regularly in between the two houses and smokes late at night.
Insiders are starting to break their silence on the Dacara Thompson case, and it's sending chills through people's spines. From the whispers floating around, this might not just be a random tragedy tied to Hugo Hernandez Mendez. There's talk it could be part of something much bigger. Why else would investigators allegedly find multiple pairs of women's underwear and lingerie in his room? Pieces that clearly didn't all belong to one person.
Justice, whatever justice can be given in this world, she deserves it.
Neighbors are now questioning if Hugo might be linked to other disappearances in the area. Because let's be real, way too many people have gone missing nearby for this to be brushed off as coincidence.
My heart goes out to her family. I can't even imagine. I have a daughter myself, and I can't even imagine the grief that they're going through right now.
But then there's the part nobody can wrap their heads around. Why would Dacara willingly get into his vehicle when she had her own car right there, tank full of gas, ready to roll? It makes no sense. Leaving behind her phone, her purse, her ID, her cash, and even her car feels like a huge red flag. People online keep asking the same thing. What connection did these two even have? Some on social media are throwing out theories, even suggesting Dacara may have been meeting him for reasons the streets are already speculating about.
It smells more like something you'd smell akin to like a trash burning or something like that.
Now, all of that could be cleared up if police dropped what they pulled from Dakara's phone, which is already in custody. And the rumors say those details are beyond disturbing.
I would be willing to bet that they were burning evidence of some sort. I know that when I told the detectives this, I know that that ash pile that was back there is no longer back there.
But here's where it gets even darker. A neighbor named Cody, who lives right next to Hugo's family, came forward with a jaw-dropping claim. He said that in the early morning hours of August 23rd, he stepped outside and saw something burning in Hugo's backyard. Cody swears the smell drifting from Hugo's backyard that night wasn't just brush burning. It was sharper, nastier, like trash, or something no one could place. And when detectives came around, he told them about the strange ash pile he spotted back there, making people suspect they weren't just burning junk. They might have been destroying evidence.
I'm very disappointed, finding that out now, because we may not be here today if they did what they were supposed to do.
But here's what has everyone shaking their heads. This wasn't some empty house. There were people inside while Dakara's car sat abandoned, unlocked, and her belongings left behind. So how could no one hear anything? If there was a struggle, and remember, she was later found with no clothes and no cover, then why didn't somebody react? That silence feels way too convenient. Detectives pressed deeper, and one roommate gave up some disturbing details. They admitted they overheard Dacara and Hugo in his room, but what followed wasn't normal. It was strange grunting that didn't sound like both parties were on the same page. That alone set alarms off. And when that same roommate woke up again later that night, they noticed Hugo's GMC, usually parked right out front, was suddenly gone. That was weird enough, because everyone knew Hugo didn't work Saturdays, and that truck never moved at night. Meanwhile, two other roommates claimed total ignorance. They told police they hadn't seen or heard a single thing, blaming it on the fact that their rooms sit on the far side of the house, away from Hugo's. Still, that excuse hasn't calmed the whispers, because people believe there's no way a violent scene could have gone down in that cramped house without someone catching on. Even one family member living under the same roof got dragged into questioning. She admitted she's Hugo's cousin, but insisted she knew nothing about what went down. The cousin told investigators she was completely blindsided by the thought that someone in her own bloodline could be wrapped up in something this dark. But then she slipped up and admitted that in the weeks leading up to everything, Hugo had been acting strange, distant, barely around, like he was hiding something. She even claimed she begged him to come clean if he knew anything, but he just brushed it off. Things got even messier once detectives widened the net. Officers didn't just bring Hugo in, they also pulled her husband and another family member for questioning. The other two walked free, but Hugo never came back out. And if that wasn't enough chaos, the very next morning, federal immigration agents stormed the house again, this time hauling away her husband. The cousin swore up and down that her man had nothing to do with Dakara's case, insisting he fully cooperated. Still, She couldn't understand why Hugo's criminal investigation suddenly triggered an immigration case against her own spouse. That twist sent the whole neighborhood into a frenzy. Now here's where people are really suspicious. Nobody's buying the idea that a house full of people never heard a single thing coming from Hugo's bedroom, especially considering how Dacar's final moments played out. It's just too hard to believe all those ears caught nothing when the situation inside was spiraling out of control. Then came the chilling discovery. On August 31st, just before 5 p.m., Maryland State Police responded to a call about a disabled car sitting along Route 50 between Route 424 and Route 97 in Annapolis. But when troopers arrived at the bridge over the South River, what they found wasn't just a stalled vehicle. Troopers peered over the bridge and made a gut-wrenching discovery: a body lying on the embankment nearly 30 feet down. Just days later, on September 3rd, detectives sat with Dacar's devastated family and confirmed the unthinkable. Using photos provided by her loved ones, they identified the remains as hers. The family revealed the heartbreaking truth: Dacara had suffered brutal skull and facial fractures, injuries so severe they could hardly bear to describe them. In the end, it wasn't just the injuries that confirmed it was her. They recognized Dacara by her tattoos and the jewelry she never went without. Small personal details that now served as the final proof. Her father had first reported her missing on the night of August 23rd, just before 9 p.m. He told officers the last time he saw her was the night before, August 22nd, when she mentioned she was stepping out to grab gas and would be back shortly. But she never returned. And that silence sent shockwaves through the family. Her father tried calling her when the hours stretched too long, but no answer ever came. By August 24th, panic turned into action. Family members tracked her phone using the Find My iPhone app and traced it to the intersection of Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road in Hyattsville. When they arrived, they spotted her car, abandoned, and immediately contacted police. Dacara was the youngest of 5 siblings, and like many close families, they all shared their locations through the app. When they checked her phone data, they noticed it had been switched off completely. The last ping? Right there near Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road. That eerie dead zone became ground zero for the investigation. And soon after, armed with a search warrant, police began digging deeper into Hugo's hidden world. Inside Hugo's bedroom and even in the trash, investigators uncovered what they believed to be Dacara's blood, along with a broken white and pink French-tipped fingernail, strands of hair, a wig, and other damning evidence. And that wasn't all. They also found multiple pairs of women's underwear and lingerie scattered around, pieces that prosecutors now say painted a chilling picture of his double life. That was enough for police to slap the cuffs on Hugo E. Mendez, charging him with first and second-degree murder in the gruesome death of 19-year-old Dacara Thompson. Not long after, ICE hit the case too, filing a detainer against Hugo, branding him a criminal illegal alien, and promising Dacara's family that justice would be served. Detectives laid out what they believe went down. Hugo allegedly killed Dacara in his bedroom in the early hours of August 23rd, then loaded her body into his vehicle, drove out to Route 50 between Route 424 and Route 97 in Annapolis, and tossed her over that small bridge like she was nothing. Right now, Hugo sits in jail with no bond, awaiting his next court date on October 8th. But here's where the heat turns up. People in the community are demanding more charges. They argue that Hugo's roommates should face accessory counts because if Dacara fought back hard enough to lose a nail and leave blood, then there had to be screams and noises shaking those walls. How could a house full of people claim they heard nothing? And it doesn't stop there. Locals whisper this case may only be the tip of the iceberg. Some are convinced Hugo could be tied to other disappearances in the area because there have been too many to ignore. That lingerie stash found in his room? To suspicious eyes, it looks less like clothing and more like sick trophies. Souvenirs from women who may never have made it home. Whispers in the neighborhood keep getting louder because several women have already vanished under strange, mysterious circumstances. That rumor alone has folks on edge, wondering if more victims will be identified once investigators sort through all the evidence pulled from Hugo's room. The fear is real, and the community can't stop asking, just how many lives could be tied to this man? What makes it worse is knowing Hugo was walking free all this time, despite a rap sheet that reads like a crash course in recklessness. We're talking multiple DUIs, wild drunk driving runs, and even open container violations. rolling around with alcohol in his car like the streets were his personal nightclub. Witnesses say his driving style was chaos too, blowing red lights, ignoring stop signs, parking wherever he pleased. Officially, those are traffic violations, but in reality, it screams no rules apply to me. Add in reckless lane changes, and he wasn't just breaking laws. He was a danger to anyone who crossed his path. And get this, he was even caught driving on a suspended license at one point. That's someone who clearly believed the system couldn't touch him. Even Dacar's mom spoke out, saying she was heartbroken that a man with this history was still out in the world, free to cause more harm. And she's not just dealing with her loss, she's also watching her daughter's name get dragged online. People have been throwing around ugly claims, suggesting Dacara was selling herself. But her mom set the record straight. She described Dacara as a kind, soft-spoken, outgoing free spirit. Not the twisted picture social media is painting. Her words were clear. Don't believe every rumor you see, and out of respect for the family, please approach with grace. Still, others argue this should be seen as a cautionary tale for young women, a brutal reminder of the dangers out there. But before anyone jumps to conclusions, the bigger question remains. Is Hugo just one man spiraling, or are we looking at a pattern of women being targeted? Were those other pairs of lingerie and underwear hidden in his room souvenirs from more victims? And what about the people still living under his roof? How much do they really know? This could be way bigger than anyone imagined. And as the investigation unfolds, I want to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I'll see you on the next one.